Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Coming up here in just a bit, we've got a guest on the program. I'm going to be visiting with David Thomas Roberts. He's got a book called Unemployable. And you'd think that, being unemployed would be bad, right? He's going to talk about how it's not always bad. Sometimes that's a good thing. So we're going to be chatting about Unemployable here in a little bit. Got a quote from a wise man by the name of Flava Flav.
This should be good.
Can't believe I'm quoting Flava Flav. It says, when I was in jail, I was a lot of people's favorite person. I practically ran the jail. I had more freedom than the police. Flava Flav. So
Yeah.
Apparently.
That's about what I expected his quote to be.
Honestly, he seems to be very funny. I don't know that I would take, wise quotes from Flava Flav. I don't think you'd make much of a book out of that if you're but you just never know. Coming up, some special things going on today. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, May the 19th. It's Boys Club Day today. I think now it's Boys and Girls Club is what they call it, but this was the founding day, I believe, of the Boys Club. Endangered Species Day today. It is Internal Virtual Assistance Day. Oh, International. That's the abbreviation. See, I need an assistant to help me.
Oh, wow.
International Virtual Assistance Day today. What's wrong with me? May Ray Day today. O. Henry Pun Off Day today. NASCAR Day today. National Bike to Work Day. National Pizza Party Day, National Scooter Day, National Hepatitis Testing Day, National Asian and Pacific Islander HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. Wow. And it is National Day of Defense, and National Transportation Day. So a lot of different things going on today. Or National Defense Transportation Day.
Shouldn't
I think that's
the
what it is.
days be like fun things?
Yeah,
like, these are things that today is the day for coconut cream pie or
That's
whatever.
good. I like that.
I mean,
We
why
just had
would
that, like a week
we
ago.
have to have hepatitis day?
I
That's
don't know. They gotta have it a day.
They're so stupid.
I really wish
You're
you
not
just...
going to celebrate any of these things.
I wish
so
you
why
would
do they
tell me
need a
how you really
day?
feel on these things, Heidi.
Well, it's just
All right,
dumb.
coming up, we got some more dumb stuff on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Two men in ski masks with handguns walked into a Palomas restaurant in Cantina in Bluffington, South Carolina. Palomas Restaurant and Cantina. Okay, so that's the whole thing. I was very confused there. Anyway, this was in South Carolina last Friday. They took $170 as employees were cleaning up. The men fired their guns, which was a bad idea because they didn't need to. So the gunshot sounds and a waitress that screamed alerted a man in an adjacent bar. He attempted to sneak outside and lock the robbers in. So he was thinking, hey, I'm going to just lock the door so they can't get out. Is that a good idea, locking them in with all those other people?
Well, no, not with the people inside.
Well, anyway, he tried to sneak over and lock them in. When that didn't work, he chased the robbers into the woods. An owner and some employees and customers followed on foot, some carrying pool cues. These guys didn't think this through very well. When one of the robbers stopped and tried to fight the pursuers, they began beating.
God, why were they trying to fight? Just shoot.
They began beating the 6'3" man with pool cues and tree branches that were picked up along the way. Deputies conducting a traffic stop nearby were waved down. They arrested Anthony Tyrone Baker. Most of the stolen money, by the way, was dropped on the floor in the restaurant before he even left. The rest was laying in the woods, so he didn't get any of it. Not that if he would have been arrested, it would have said, well, he got to keep this because he still had it on his person. But he didn't even have any. By the time they beat him with sticks and pool cues and tree branches and everything else.
This?
This was in Bluffton, South Carolina.
That's fantastic.
So you don't want to mess with them there. I got another story coming up later where we're going to be talking about a person who picked the wrong place to rob. Because some of these, you know what? Some of the patrons just go, no, I don't think so. I like this place. I don't think you're going to do that. So they beat the snot out of some guy and it was like an old couple that beat the snot out of him. So we got that story later in the program. This one happened, and the guy had a gun, but that was no match for the tree branches and pool cues. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. An unnamed mother was busted at a restaurant for smoking. And it actually wasn't mom that was smoking. It was her 2-year-old son. Yeah, the boy's aunt was also there. She told the police that the boy often says, smoke, and sometimes takes cigarettes out of the pack and puts them in his mouth. Even worse, though, the aunt said, Mom keeps a rolled-up dollar bill in the bedroom, which her son plays with. By playing, she means he holds it up to his nose and says, fix, over and over again. So this is a bad idea. So hopefully this kid isn't really snorting cocaine, too. He's 2. It's a 2-year-old.
He's just learning from example, and he's playing, doing what his family does. He should be placed in
absolutely
foster care.
Is not a good home for a child like that. That's a bad idea. So it does not have the mother's name in the story, and that's probably a good thing because the public outcry would probably be pretty deafening. So anyway, that where was that? Doesn't say. Does it say in here? It wasn't around here anyway. That's just sad stuff. Coming up, we've got your moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Have you ever heard the phrase, you get what you pay for?
Oh, yeah.
It's usually true, unless, of course, you're in Washington, D.C. The hotbed of wisdom and financial responsibility, Washington, D.C., comes the word that the District of Columbia paid $10 million 3 years ago for several streetcars made in Czech Republic. 3 years later, those streetcars are still sitting in the Czech Republic. That is because D.C. has yet to build tracks for the cars, and there's no timetable as to when that rail line will be built. So they paid $10 million for streetcars, and they don't have the streetcar track to roll them on. That just doesn't make a ton of sense.
Are you shocked by that?
I am so shocked. Actually, you bought me a book one time. It was called The Greatest Government Goofs, and it was supposed to be a funny ha-ha book. I got so angry, I finally gave the book away. I finished reading it, and every time I would even look at it, I would get mad. I'm like, man, we just waste money so stupidly.
Yeah.
And I finally gave it away. I was like, I can't even look at this book anymore because every time I look at it, I just get infuriated. I don't know. I think it's really sad that there are some people that are in charge of finances for our country that they just don't seem to care. Now, if you're listening and you're in charge of that and you do care, I commend you. We need more people like you. The ones who don't do that, I don't think they would listen to us very long. I just don't think they would. They'd be like, I don't think these guys like me very much. We've got your scoop of the day, and that is on the way.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. A Lowe's home improvement store in Virginia. The employees there are experimenting with a new, sounds like it's right out of a sci-fi movie, exosuit that allows them to lift extra heavy objects without a sweat. So they put on this exoskeleton suit, and it gives them unbelievable strength. So they're like, do you need all this stuff carried out to your car? Hey, never mind. I'll just carry your car in here. That kind of strength.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Do you think this is a good idea?
I don't think it's necessary.
I think it's a great idea, but here's my concern. Be careful who you let in that suit.
Yeah.
You get some disgruntled employee, they'll knock the entire store over. Just saying. 3 men who stole $45,000 worth of gold nuggets probably would have gotten away with it. They were attending a barbecue.
For those crazy kids.
Yeah, and that pesky dog. No, they didn't have anything to do with it. Just their own stupidity. They were at a barbecue at a gold mine site in Western Australia, and they stole $45,000 worth of gold. And here's how they got caught. Because they posted photos of themselves
What
with
idiots.
the stolen golden nuggets on Facebook, and they did that right after the crime. And
What idiots.
How did you know we did this? Because you're stupid. I don't know, this doesn't make any sense to me. Recent study, though, suggests
I want to know how to get invited to a barbecue at a gold mine.
Hey, if you're having a barbecue at your gold mine, I promise I won't steal $45,000 worth of gold.
I promise I won't put it on Facebook.
See? It's a whole different promise right there. Go with my promise. Recent study suggests that kids are getting fatter because of lack of sleep. So they're saying it's the sleep. It's not the fact that
activity.
The increase of shoveling food in our face. I think that's probably what it is.
No, I think it's lack of activity.
Yeah, that too.
Not moving.
There you go. Well, and they're saying a lack of sleep. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll go with Heidi on this one. Over in China, a computer technician who stole and drank a colleague's breakfast milk says he only did so because he was, quote, stressed out. Well, maybe we could believe that if he hadn't also sent the woman anonymous messages bragging about drinking her milk. And then more messages with, pictures of that. The milk in question was being stored in the woman's office refrigerator. The suspect is a coworker. The good news is the guy was arrested, and now a judge gets to deal with this.
Arrested for drinking somebody's milk?
But in addition to the milk, he was sending her messages. And
give her 45 cents for some more milk.
He also sent what they're putting in here, Anthony Weiner-style photos. So he was sending her indecent photos of himself. I don't know if he was doing something with the milk. I have no clue. Anyway, this is going on in China. So the good news is, it's not just people in America that are dummies that do dumb stuff. It's spread all over the world. Facebook is testing a new thing. I can't wait to hear Heidi's reaction on this. There's a new group phone feature that will let you talk on the phone on a Facebook app with 50 friends at once. Do you think this is a good idea?
No.
Can you even imagine 50?
That would be such a mess.
Who would be talking to who?
Yeah.
How would you do this?
Yeah.
Do they understand that
ridiculous.
A conversation with more than two people is really difficult?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it if there was like somebody saying, okay, we're going to have this group chat and everybody's going to tune in because, Heidi's...
Everybody's just going to listen because
Yeah.
I have this to say, so please don't
So
talk.
utilizing it for something like a seminar kind of thing, that makes sense. But to say, okay, everybody, let's get on the phone and all chat at once. I mean, it just wouldn't work.
No.
We try. That's why when we have an interview, like we've got an interview coming up here, it's not John and Heidi doing the interview because even just two of us talking to somebody was confusing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that and I usually don't care about the people that you're talking to.
Today we got this exciting book we're talking about. She's like, I'm just going to yawn over here in the corner. Like, you can't do that. Not when they're on the phone. I mean, Heidi, at least wait till we're off the phone before you say, what a stupid idea for a book. Seriously? You just said that to the author. I know. Like, yeah, you're no longer invited on the phone calls. But the
constructive criticism.
Yeah, but the person we're talking to today, she didn't say that about his book. I just want to make sure that's very clear. The book is called Unemployable, and we're going to be chatting with the author coming up after this.
John and Heidi.
80s in the Sand will be happening this November in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
And that'll be here before you know it.
Join us and have a blast with 80s in the Sand.
An all-inclusive vacation with some of the greatest bands of the 80s.
Plus, you can meet some 80s icons from the movies and television as well.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website is 80sinthesand.com.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a guest joining us today. Some people think about being unemployed as a really bad thing, but there's some people that say, hey, that's not such a bad thing. Let me explain. We've got the author of a book called Unemployable, How to Be Successfully Unemployed Your Entire Life. And we've got him on the line right now, David Thomas Robert. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, glad to have you on the program. Now, it's not always a bad thing to be unemployed, is it?
Not if it's by choice.
Yeah, if it's by choice, and if you're doing something for yourself.
That's correct. I've been in business for myself for over 37 years, John, and serial entrepreneur. I wouldn't have it any other way. And this book is geared for people who want to be in business for themselves and maybe just don't know what steps to take.
And then once you get to that point where you've worked for yourself and you've done it on your own, it does make it hard to say, hey, I want to go back and work for other people now, doesn't it?
It sure does. And I unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I kind of recognized in an early age that I was unemployable. I saw my stepfather go through corporate America, worked for the same company for 36 years, and and how he was treated at the end, and all the things that came along with that. I got to compare to some of my buddies whose families had family businesses, and I knew there was definitely a difference in lifestyles.
And being unemployable, being a person who works for yourself, that's not for everybody. So if you work for somebody right now and you're listening and going, I need to quit, well, maybe you want to think about it first. And in the book, does the book Unemployable, does it kind of give you things that people should look for when they're trying to decide if they want to work for themselves?
Sure. And I would agree with your statement. First of all, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I have a lot of employees in my businesses. They're great employees, and that's what they want to do. This book is for people like me who's got that deep down, gut burn to be in business for themselves. And a lot of times, it's not where you have to quit your job and start a business and take that kind of risk. A lot of successful people that I've helped over the years have started part-time, and there usually is some triggering event in their life. They're just tired of not being able to pay their bills, or they've gone through a corporate downsizing, or there could be some health issues. There's a lot of reasons, John, why people start businesses, and it's not necessarily where you have to jump off the cliff and take your whole life savings and put it at risk.
And that's the thing. When you do it, you want to take smart risks, not just take risks. You want to take smart risks.
That's right. And I always tell people to find a mentor. And I will tell you that I love it when people are asking me, advice about business, and really some of the best teachers are the failures. So I went through a spectacular failure when I was in my 20s and lost everything I had, but I learned from it, and I figured out the reason I went through that failure is because I was financially illiterate. So if you're financially illiterate when you're an employee, that will carry over to your business. So there's a lot of things from mentors that you can learn. That's one of them, financial literacy, but it's a great journey, I will tell you.
And I'm reading here, it says you can learn secrets the business professors don't tell you about starting and running a successful business. And what are some of the things that you're going to find in the book? And we won't give it all away because we want people to be able to read the book and learn stuff. But what are some things they're going to learn by reading Unemployable? How to be successfully unemployed for your entire life?
John, actually, where that comes from is my youngest son. I have 4 children. My youngest son was in business school at Texas A&M University, and he was coming home and weekends and tell me, Daddy, I'm in business classes, but I'm not hearing you talk about the same things. So I'll give you an example. One chapter of the book is called "You Can't Push a Wet Noodle."
Yeah.
And of course, he never heard his professor say that, but I don't know where I heard that or where I've been saying that line for years and years. But it's basically I've learned that I can't motivate other people. I can only lead them and try to help them, but you can't push a wet noodle. You can't motivate somebody that doesn't want to be motivated.
Absolutely true. Absolutely.
Another
true.
one is the crab in a bucket theory. So a lot of times I see folks trying to start their business, and unfortunately, they may have a spouse who's negative about it. They may have family members who are negative about it, and all these reasons why you can't succeed or why it's not a good idea or why you shouldn't do it. And of course, these are folks that probably have never done it. So it's the same theory as if I live close to Galveston, Texas. If you go down and go crabbing, you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket. They all try to climb out, but nobody is able to get out. None of the crabs are able to get out of the bucket because the other crabs keep pulling them back in. So that's what I call the crab in a bucket theory. Another item that's not taught in business schools is that you got to get away from negative people because negative people will pull you back into the bucket.
That's true. And if you're going to be listening to somebody, listen to somebody that's been down the road you're going. If you're both lost, it's kind of hard to give each other directions, isn't it?
Boy, that is so true. Absolutely.
Again, our guest today is the best-selling author of a book. It's a fun-looking book, too. It's called Unemployable, How to Be Successfully Unemployed Your Entire Life. And there's a little note on here that says, to my boss, you're fired. I love that.
Yeah, that's we play on that. And again, there's nothing really wrong with somebody that has a career and a job and they're happy with that. And that's great. Again, I've got a lot of great employees, but this is a book for people that have that deep down burn to get a business for themselves, even if it's part time, and where to go, what to do, and how to determine how to make it a success.
And there are some personality types that probably should work for other people, but if you're one of those people that are working for somebody else and you know that maybe it's time for you to do your own thing, then maybe you should check out the book.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of folks. I find the number one reason people don't go in business for themselves is risk adverse. They're afraid to lose that paycheck. And again, one of the chapters in the book is I think this is the best time in history to actually start a business because of technology and connectivity. You can literally have customers all over the world. So you can actually run a business from your kitchen table, still have your job, and supplement your income, and maybe at some point replace it.
There you go. Well, David, thank you again for taking the time to chat with us, and thank you so much for writing this book. It sounds like a great book, and I bet it's going to help a lot of wonderful people.
Well, thank you for having me.
Again, the book is called Unemployable, How to Be Successfully Unemployed Your Entire Life, and we've been visiting today with the author, David Thomas Roberts. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
California leads all of the U.S. states in the number of turkeys raised. I would have never thought that would be like a turkey state. Would you?
No, I would have
know.
thought that was Washington,
But
D.C.
when you think of turkeys, when you think of California, awfully thinking turkeys. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
There may be as many chickens in the world as there are people. It's funny, every time they start counting, they go ahead and kill a few of them. So they're like, dang it. Okay, let's start again. 1, 2, chop, chop, chop. Yeah, dang it. 1,
I know there's
2.
as many chickens in my freezer as there are people in our
Are there
house.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. See, good to know. I know where some of those chickens went. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The average dinosaur lived to be over 100 years old. So now I know what killed the dinosaurs. Social Security ran out. I know, that wasn't it. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Dale Evans' horse. Now, we talked the other day about her partner, Roy Rogers' horse, but Dale Evans' horse was named Buttermilk.
Yeah, okay.
And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that,
The
John?
British title of nobility that is the highest rank of British nobility is Duke.
I knew that.
Duke. There you go.
Duke.
Yeah, now you know. A couple of fun facts right here on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Have you thought of starting a home-based business but didn't like the idea of calling family and friends? This top-quality fitness and health products company lets you take advantage of their advertising power to reach people who wish to add a few hundred or a few $1,000s a week to their income by following a simple system. Plus, everyone who joins the team after you benefits you as well. To learn more about how you can leverage your time to help others get healthy and create wealth from home, call Scott Smith at 866-741-7242. That's 866-741-7242.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. It is very, very rare that I give up the reins on this program and hand things over to Heidi. But she said, hey, I got this idea. I just found this. Somebody shared it with me on the internet, and I think you should read this. And I said, no, I think I'll let you read this. So what are we getting into?
I thought it was
here?
funny. It's 13 naughty U.S. city names.
So now, anybody listening, does this sound like something John would talk about on the radio? No. Does it sound like something Heidi would talk about on the radio? Yeah.
I just thought this list was funny. I didn't know some of these. I knew some of these places existed, but I didn't know about all of them.
So for those of you who have very sensitive ears, she's going to, and none of this is.
Oh, they're not super
I know, but
naughty.
I'm just saying, she's got another minute and a half before I yank her off the radio here. So go ahead. Tell me some of these.
Okay, number 13 was Blowing Rock, North Carolina, which that's not really.
Blowing Rock, that's cool.
No. 12 is Ball Play, Alabama.
I don't understand why they would call it that.
11 is Ballville Township, Ohio.
Okay.
And then Weed, California.
All right.
9 is Bangs, Texas.
Okay.
8 is Blue Ball, Pennsylvania. That's probably my favorite.
I wonder why. We should see the origin of these names. I wonder why. Somebody had to come up with these names. They're like, what are we going to call it? Your committee was supposed to come up with a name. We're like, yeah, we did. We worked hard on it.
Well, they probably wrote in on horses when they found it. And so I would think maybe that's the first thing that came to their minds.
Could be. I don't know.
Number 7, Licking, Indiana.
Licking. Okay.
Licking. And then 6 is Plentywood, Montana, which I know somebody there. I don't know why that one sounds naughty, but whatever. 5 is Climax, Georgia. That's another fun one.
Yeah.
4 is Pleasure Point, California. And that place, the median house price, $735,000.
Sounds like a great place.
3 is Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
I've heard of that.
2 is Dick Johnson, Indiana.
Huh.
And number 1 is Buttsville, New Jersey.
Buttsville. I wonder...
Oddly enough, only 194 people have chosen to live in Buttsville.
Again, I wonder why they would choose to call it that. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
The town was named after its founder.
Mr. Buttsville?
Yeah, Michael Robert Butts.
Okay, well, there you go. See, are you glad I handed the mic over to Heidi? You'll have to let us know on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. The Maryland Court of Appeals has ruled that saying "I divorce thee" 3 times is not a valid way to get divorced in Maryland. A World Bank economist who moved there from Pakistan in 1985 went to the Pakistan embassy in D.C. and used the Islamic method to divorce his wife without telling her, so he could keep her from getting any of his $2 million fortune. The court ruled that no matter where you're from, if you live in Maryland, saying "I divorce thee" 3 times is not enough. You have to get an actual divorce.
If you're going to do that, you should say it to her. You can't just divorce somebody and not tell them.
How does that work? Who was he divorcing then? Whoever he was with at the time?
No, he was just saying
His attorney? Hey, you got all this money.
in front of whoever, so that he could prove that he divorced her, but she had no clue.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So did he stay with her for a while? It's like, well, I don't want to
Apparently.
let you know I divorced you yesterday, but got $2 million I'm going to be spending. I'm going to take you to dinner or something at least. I don't know. That makes no sense. What do you think it would be a good idea to have divorces that easy in America, where you just say, "I divorce thee" 3 times and then you're done?
No.
I don't think so either. Because I think even as difficult as we make it, people get divorced. A lot of the time, I've talked to many people who get divorced and then get remarried to the same person because it was a hasty decision. So imagine if all it took was just...
Well, and they realize as they got with other people, it's not perfect with them either. So,
But just imagine if it was as simple as just, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. You're like, oh, no, I divorced thee 3 times. I'm sorry. I just brought some Beetlejuice thing back to life. That's what my thing was. Anyway, I just think it's interesting. It's a different culture than we're used to. I'm kind of glad we don't have that here. I think that would be really, really hard. Coming up, we've got some interesting things happening at the airport. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Airport security guards in Tampa busted an illegal Peruvian immigrant, Marina Rayano, after she approached the Continental Airlines counter to get a ticket to Newark with 8 gigantic, bulging duffel bags behind her. Apparently new at the whole smuggling game, Riaz froze on the standard question, "Did you pack your own bags?" Here's what she said. Why do you need to know that?
that's a red flag.
Did you pack your own bags? Maybe. Why do you need to know? Who's asking? Airport security was summoned. They found $25,000 worth of, what do you suppose was in the bags?
Marijuana?
No, actually, shoplifted upscale clothing.
Oh.
Yeah. Otherwise, this would have been part of our Brain on Drugs segment.
$25,000?
$25,000 worth of stolen clothing that was stuffed in duffel bags. And if she would have just said, "Yeah, I packed my own bags," they would have never known they were stolen. But once they had all of this and they're going, "Why was she afraid to let us know she had this?" They had to search,
How would they have
look
known
into
they
it.
were stolen? She left all the price tags on them
No,
and
I'm sure there was probably clothing with the same description missing in that country, and she was smuggling it out. So, anyway, I guess it was in Tampa. That's where it was. So, probably in Tampa. Let's move on. We've got more fun stuff on the way. Thanks for... You love to ask me questions about things I don't know the answers to. Did they leave the price tags on? It's not in the story.
Some of the places in Tampa, that could have been just one blouse.
Yeah, that's true. $25,000 worth of stolen clothing. Just this one bikini. There you go. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
It's almost graduation time. If you have a son or daughter finishing high school, you need to hear this. They can go to college without racking up a pile of student loans. Matthew Einstein did. He saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for your kids or for yourself. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20% at freeeducationuniversity.com. That's freeeducationuniversity.com.
John and Heidi.
Heidi, in all fairness, I have to admit, I actually heard this on the radio the other day, and then I had to search for it myself because I was fascinated with Loch Ness Monster when I was a little kid. Were you ever fascinated with that?
I suppose a little bit. I don't know.
Bigfoot, were you ever into that kind of thing?
No, not really.
You weren't into, how about UFOs? Were you ever into that?
No.
See, when I went through a phase where I was like fascinated with this stuff, I checked out every book in the library. Kids, this is before we had the internet. I checked out every book on these topics and I read about it because it was just, I don't know why, it fascinated me.
My own life is odd and unbelievable enough that I really don't need to search outside those parameters for more information.
There are people in other areas that actually tell the myth about Heidi Small. They're like, no, seriously. You're like, whatever. That's like the Bigfoot. No, seriously. Heidi Small. I'm serious. She exists. Are you serious? Nobody's ever gotten a photo of her, though, right? I notice every video is always blurry. Yeah, because she's always drunk. Anyway, many have probably feared the infamous Loch Ness Monster, and some people, like me, were just fascinated with it.
Why would you fear him? He's never hurt anybody.
Well, but that's the thing. People were afraid. They don't know what's going on there. Anyway, some have feared that he died because there have been no sightings for 8 months. But we can breathe a sigh of relief because new footage has now shown Nessie is indeed alive and well. In the video, accompanying photos that come with it, Nessie's long neck and head is seen gliding through the water, barely causing a ripple as a boat passed by. Nobody on the boat seemed to be fazed by the appearance of the legendary creature, but you know what else doesn't faze passing boats? A log in the water. So there are a lot of people that think that's all it is. If you want to make up your mind for yourself, you can see the video at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Like I said, in all fairness, I heard a different program talking about this the other day on this same station right here, and I said, I got to check into that. I was fascinated by Loch Ness Monster when I was a kid, but I never liked the fact that they called it the Loch Ness Monster. I liked it when they just referred to it as Nessie. Because
it's not mean.
If he was attacking people, call it the monster.
Right.
But, no attacks in 100 and however many years this thing's been going on. So I just think that, maybe that monster name is a little wrong. So coming up here in a moment, we've got some good news, and it's not going to be fairy tale news like my Loch Ness Monster story. So we'll get to something a little cooler and a little more positive in a bit.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Oh, I love the end of the week, and I absolutely love coming up with our good news for the day. We always try to wrap up with good news. I've had some positive feedback about our good news.
Good.
People would say, I really like the fact that you have good news.
That's good.
Because it's hard to find good news. And there are times I struggle. I actually have like 5 or 6 really good news stories. So I'm probably set all next week. But I want to say thanks to everybody that sends things over. This story I thought was just really probably fitting for our good news segment because it's just really kind of a cool concept. Amazon, we've probably all heard of those guys. They announced that they are building a new building, and they're going to construct this in Seattle. And have you heard about this?
No.
Well, it's going to feature a really uncommon mix. They're going to have their own high-tech offices on one part of the building, and then they're going to have a homeless shelter with space for 65 families in another part of the building.
Oh.
I think that's really cool. The company said they're going to donate more than 47,000 square feet of space, about half of the new 6-story building, to a group called Mary's Place. And they operate several family shelters. And I've got a link to this story online. It's really neat. It's fun. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show is where you find that. Now, the thing I think is funny, I was looking at this on Facebook, not on our page, but where I actually saw it on Facebook. And I've got some kind of smart aleck friends, Heidi.
Okay.
I've got several friends that are quite the comedians. And one of the people on there said, I think it's very fitting that Amazon is in their new corporate offices, they're going to have room for homeless people. Maybe that's where all the people who used to own bookstores could move. I was like, I never thought of that, but I thought that was kind of mean, but funny all at the same time. Because, the sad thing is, it's harder and harder to find a local bookstore these days. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing that really stinks. There have been a lot of authors that I'll talk to, and I'll ask them where they can find the book, and they say, you can get it at this giant book website. And I'll ask, can you get it at a local bookstore? And they're like, well, they could order it through that website too, and you could buy it through the bookstore. And I'm like, well, that's really sad. So it's kind of like they're almost making the system more difficult for the little guys.
That's too bad.
I go out of my way to support local business. I think that's a good thing to do. Anyway, if you'd like to read this story, I think it's cool that this gigantic behemoth of a company is doing something nice anyway. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show is where you'll find that article. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. We appreciate you listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.